There are 3 towns, ghost towns, that are all close here. And we're starting here in Miner's Delight, which was also known as Hamilton City. And gold was discovered in the 1860s. There were other booms, you know, mining booms, kind of all through even to the 1930s. And then when all that went away, the town went away. And the last people that lived here was about 1960. There's no one that lives here anymore. There's several buildings to walk around and check out. It's actually trying to be restored in a bit. I actually walked up and there's a group of people that are restoring a building that had collapsed, and they're kind of taking the original components of it and kind of rebuilding it, putting some new parts on it to help it stay together. And so there's a group here trying to keep Miner's Delight as, you know, keep the history preserved. And it was never real big. It's way up here in the mountains. I think we're over 8,000 feet and pretty far out of the way to get here, but worth the trip. Very cool place to check out. Our second mining town up here is Atlantic City, and this is one that still has people living here, 30 or 40 people. It's kind of a combination of historic places and new kind of rustic looking homes and businesses and buildings. Similar to Miner's Delight, had a, you know, up and down, you know, based on the mining, up and down history, and then actually during the Great Depression had one of the biggest booms they had, and so that was a kind of interesting. So then it, you know, has kind of faded to what it is today. It's very beautiful. It's interesting to drive around to see the contrast from the old buildings to the, you know, you can tell more modern places, and they have actually numbered. They've numbered little buildings, and you can walk around and you can read about the history of all the different buildings. So they have a little tour you can take of Atlantic City. Our final stop on today's tour of the ghost towns here in the mining area in central Wyoming is South Pass City. This was a city of 3,000 people at one time, and at that time Wyoming wasn't a state, but it was a territory, and it was the second biggest city in the entire territory. And now the friendly sign as you enter town says population is about 4. There are houses and things like that. There's a, it looks like there is activity here. And then there's some really nicely restored buildings, historical buildings, and they're labeled, and you can walk around and check those out. So this area has done a great job with maintaining their history and preserving it so that people are able to learn about it. And Miner's Delight, that first one, looks like they're working on that, and that'll, they've maybe the third one of the 3 here. But let's check out South Pass City and show you some of the cool stuff around town. Looks like what they've done here is kind of like, it reminds me of Bannock, Montana, where they are kind of recreating a town with authentic buildings, kind of all in one area that's separate from the actual town. So it's kind of interesting. In Bannock, it was just only the historical stuff. Here, it's a little bit of both, so it's kind of a interesting way that they're doing it.